All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the finals here of the European Region Open Qualifiers number 2. This is it. This is the final spot. We will find out our 10th and final team going on to the regional qualifiers, which again starts tomorrow morning even, so you bounce right into it here if you are one of these teams that qualify. But looking forward to see what happens here. We have a best of 3 ahead of us, and of course 2 deserving teams of being here. We have the BeanBoys. BeanBoys, they've had a fun run. Of course, Cancel, Sing, and crew. Definitely the bigger names there, and ones that I know a lot of people are excited to see. On the other side, we have, well, they're known as the Horde technically, but they're kind of doing a little bit of troll right here as they're going by Kai P instead. So I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Z-Rock here. Welcome to the finals, man.
Reserve time.
Are you muted? I have you muted still. Oh my god, yeah, I had you muted. There we go.
All right.
Anyway.
Hello, everybody. This is Oh, wait, no, not me.
You're not that guy. You're Z-Rock.
Discount Purge, Walmart Purge.
Sure. Hey,
I don't know.
Purge is a good guy. I think you're better than that, personally.
Wow.
Anyways, we got game number 1 here, best of 3. As I was kind of mentioning here, it's obviously the Horde here on the bottom portion, but a little bit of troll coming out. For those that may not know, I guess Sing and crew, I don't know if it was exactly these players by any means, but a lot of these players, Kai P, is kind of their former name from a while ago. So I don't know the full history.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know more than that, but
I mean, Kai P is a long and storied team in Dota 2. I mean, where do you even start with Kai P? They've had rosters since 2012. Like, I'm trying to remember who was on the original. It was like Febby and Fada played on some team. And then the big one came out. It was Eternal Envy and Sing were like the big 2. So then they ran through like every pro player you could think of. Arteezy played with them for a while. Come With Me. Yeah, it's been a long-standing team. It's always just been a fun team to have in tournaments.
Okay.
They've been entertaining to have around, but yeah. So going into this, though, we do see the Slaughter banned out. BeanBoys taking a page out of that. Maybe they caught the drafts in the last series and realized it's probably not a good idea to give anybody right now.
But they do leave open Coddle, and so obviously that's kind of snap picked essentially with that first pick, that on top of the Sand King now. Coddle's kind of another one of these rising heroes. I know the Horde especially has been playing it when it happens to not be banned initially as well. So I guess it's kind of pick your poison, as it usually is, type deal.
Reserve time.
That first pick.
Yeah, and Ake is incredibly comfortable on that Coddle. He's played it when it was off meta. He's definitely made a name for himself on that. So a little scary to give that over to him. Cancel's Invoker getting pulled out here by Kai P. I'm going to call him Kai P now that they tag themselves.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. But either way, pulling out that Invoker, a great decision. Cancel has dominated pretty much every game he's managed to play that. So I like seeing that pulled out here from them. And the Centaur pick's still left in the pool. I imagine we may see that get banned out here as well, just so BeanBoys can't get their hands on that.
So I was kind of stressing at the end of last series here, so you had to go AFK for just a little bit, but how BeanBoys, we've seen a couple of games in now. For all I know, they've ran it more, but Broodmother has actually been a very successful kind of niche pick for them, especially in the previous one that we saw just a couple of rounds ago that they played. I'm kind of wondering if the Horde is maybe going to take that into consideration as far as a potential ban even, or if they're not going to be too worried. It is a best of 3 game 1, so
Kai P already has a strong 2-hero opener to stop this. If you just dual lane the Coddle Sand King against the Broodmother, it will just destroy that lane. You can never keep spiders alive. Then you have to start looking to farm the jungle as Broodmother instead of pressuring the lane, and that mitigates a lot of the advantage you get. I don't think the Broodmother is a real threat here at all. Sand King, even one-on-one, if he can get to level 4 or 5 without dying, crushes the Broodmother and has kill potential in that lane. So I don't think we're going to see that come out, especially in this game.
I think there's the argument, yeah, too. It's, as people even are kind of suggesting, that, maybe it was only the pick because, again, they were playing the opponents that they didn't necessarily feel as threatened by. Again, there's one earlier that we saw a decent team that they did it against, and it just absolutely still dominated. But, yeah, against the likes of the Horde, they're technically called, I think they respect them arguably a little bit more, and probably going to, maybe stay away from it as a result. But that would be fun to see, though. But, again, it's maybe not high potential necessarily. Nyx Assassin taken away by The Horde, by the way, with their 4th ban here now. BeanBoys, they're using a lot of reserve time to really think about these couple of bans here.
Yeah, and I'm wondering where they're going to target here with this ban, because the Sand King can be flexible. We've seen him ran as a 4 role, but it hasn't really paid off in a lot of the games that's been done. Banning the Alchemist, I find that interesting. I don't think Alch really fits the playstyle of the way either of these teams would want to play the game. Obviously, it's nice with the Keeper of the Light, because Keeper can stall for so long with Illuminate and let Alchemist farm up and get to those insane items. But kind of an odd ban from them. I'm a little surprised to see that come out.
Well, one that obviously we're not going to see now as a result. I do know Excalibur, and the idea of the Meepo is kind of another fun one that potentially could be a thing. Excalibur does have history playing that, most certainly. So,
I'm sorry, you cut out. Did you say Tinker?
No, I did not say Tinker. More so Meepo.
Yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see the Tinker come out at some point in this series.
Yeah, too.
Just because that was Excalibur's little one-trick hero for a long time. That was what he made a name for himself on when he stood in for a couple teams. Just crushed people with the way he played that. So
yeah,
it was very, very aggressive, very high pressure. So maybe we'll get to see that come out, but I'm wondering what Cancel's going to do here. He's not played poorly on heroes that aren't named Invoker, but he hasn't felt like he was the reason they win the game on anything else. Yeah. So maybe we'll see the Magnus come out. Again, we've seen it tried a couple times to mix success, but I do think that's still a strong pick, especially when you have a Juggernaut to couple it with.
Shadow Fiend is one that honestly comes to mind for me. I know he plays that quite a bit, and it does seem like a kind of a nice core to go with the Juggernaut here, and the Rubik support so far. So I'm not saying they're going to pick that here by any means, but yeah, if I had to put my money on it.
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable option for either team right now to pick up. The Ogre, just a very solid support overall. We've kind of seen the struggle, though, that comes with the fact that Ogres like to max Bloodlust now, where he just doesn't do enough damage, and kills are close, but not quite there. So I like the idea of it, but with Rubik already being a low damage support, they're really going to be heavy on making sure the Juggernaut gets the items. Or if they do decide to go with something like a Magnus, then you're pretty much all in on just super buffing 1 or 2 people. If they go like Weaver, Mag, Jug here, it'd be a pretty strong core try, but it puts you a little all in on your cores and less so on your supports, whereas the Earth Spirit and the Keeper of the Light can actually do something productive in fights.
Yeah, going to that 3rd pick, speaking of the Earth Spirit again, we've mentioned Boogie's done fantastic on Earth Spirit throughout these events so far. That's the games that we've witnessed at least, and part of me almost believes that that's the Horde taking it away, but also, you know, get it for themselves. Of course, I'm sure whoever ends up playing here, Pablo or Ake, whichever of the two, will do just fine. But yeah, Boogie's definitely been doing very good on that hero, so they perhaps even take it away. Now they have the Lifestealer as a core coming out.
Yeah, I don't mind the Lifestealer here at all. You have a great delivery method with Sand King. If Sand King burrows onto the Jug and then, you know, gets Lifestealer a chance to go on him, can be really strong here.
I love it.
BeanBoys pick is screaming that they're looking for a 5th pick, Mag, or maybe the Shadow Fiend here. The Enigma they ran last series and did very well with it. So we're seeing this picked up. Maybe it was your Han boys that started this trend, but
all right. I don't think that's the case, but there was a team that again owned me on the team that they defeated earlier, as you're getting at 01B9 as they were known by. They actually are known for running a bit of Enigma, and they ran it in that match against them, and yeah, I mean maybe kind of reminded them maybe, but by no means bringing it. But it just so happens, yeah, he's not the most popular hero nowadays, and this is going to be what, the 3rd Enigma game today, or at least in these last couple of days, so pretty unique for certain. Tinker is that final ban there, so going back to the idea of a Tinker pick. Not going to see that, though.
And it's interesting that they're the ones that banned it out, because it's kind of Excalibur's thing. I think a Shadow Fiend would have been a more reasonable ban. If they do get something like Magnus, I think you can deal with it if you're Horde. You don't worry about it too much, but a Shadow Fiend coming out here could be pretty devastating to them.
There you go. It is the Shadow Fiend. I put that money on it, and I get my money back now, plus more. All that money.
Nice prediction. Easy.
Final pick for the Horde over here.
I mean, it'd be cool if they could pick Tinker right now, but oh wait.
Or Meepo. Oh wait. Actually, Meepo probably wouldn't have been as scary. This is a lot of AoE, a lot of cleave.
Yeah, I mean, they were scared enough to ban it at least, so that's a start. But still a few options here. Storm Spirit's in the pool still, a little less so without a Wisp to go with it. But the Keeper of the Light can really be a nice supplement to the Storm in the mid game. Just Chakra Magicking him to try to keep that mana pool up a little bit, give him double remnants. Mag's still an option, but I don't really like that many melee into an Enigma Shadow Fiend. The TA banned out is another big hero that they've played.
Could they do something like a silencer mid? Like, I know that's maybe not like, traditional by any means, but
I think if BeanBoys had gone Magnus, that would have been a great pick. I think at this point it's a little too low value to really give to your mid lane. We might see something like an Ursa come out, something that can try to quickly pop the Shadow Fiend, can tank the Omni. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
All right, settle in, boys. We're slating up for an 80-minute game here. At
least. No. Naga Siren coming out. That is going to be a core Naga Siren, of course, and is she going to be mid, or is it going to be the Lifestealer we think here?
I think it'll be the Naga mid.
Okay.
You just farm with the illusions and crush and try to play safe. Shadow Fiend's going to get a little bit of a lead, but you stall out the game plenty along with Keeper of the Light that you just kind of wait until Naga gets a bunch of items. I don't think we're going to see Horde on the aggressive here, barring some insane roams out of the Star Spirit.
All right, boys. Here we go. The BeanBoys. They are ready. They got Wombo combo, of course, with the Enigma Shadow Fiend. But we got a Naga Siren final pick with a Lifestealer. You know, throw him in the Sand King or the Earth Spear. Could be a lot of potential there. And then a Coddle was, of course, going to make it very difficult to try to finish the game if you do get an early lead as far as that counter push goes. So, again, definitely setting up for what potentially could be a longer game. But you know what? This is game one of a best of three. This is our finals here for the European region. I'm just fine with that. Understandable. Both these teams, of course, would love an opportunity to be in the regionals. And you get right into it. I mean, these two teams have been grinding these last 4 days. A lot of Dota 2. And your prize for winning this whole thing is, obviously, it feels good, and, you know, you kind of make a little bit more of a name for yourself. But your prize is literally in, what is it, just over 12 hours from now, European region regionals kick off. So you're going to be jumping right into it. As far as playing more Dota 2. It's
got to be hard for them. You know, you've ground all these games, you're fatigued, you're exhausted at this point, and to play these and then go right to sleep and have to wake up fresh for a much, much harder series than they've played at any point in these qualifiers, it's definitely going to be taxing on them, and it puts whatever team wins this at a fairly big disadvantage.
Yeah. Well, they're ready to go. Pauses initially, but I think the strategy's been talked. The hype is real. And here we go. Game one. I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Z-Rock once again as your casters here for game one of these finals, at least. Have the European region Kiev Major Open Qualifier number 2. So a lot of the early TPs happening on either side. Okay, he is going to be spotted here by Celery. So not going to be as sneaky as maybe he was hoping for. He did already get one of his Observer wards down. Not the other. The mid ward coming out on the dire side, though.
Yeah, I like that mid ward a lot, especially when you're playing a Naga that's very susceptible to being ganked in the early game and naturally going to be behind in the lane. So it's a way for the SF to pressure safely so that Earth Spirit can't just roam in and do something crazy.
Sing Sing, he is the one playing the Juggernaut right here, so to clarify, for those that may have been curious what the which one he was on.
Yep.
Sexy
Yeah.
Sexy Bambo, he is going to be playing. Is Jungle Enigma really not a thing? Is it like always going to be a laning Enigma?
The thing is, you can't have anyone that commits to the jungle for that long. So putting somebody as an offlaner, they can sneak away, grab a couple camps, and come back to their lane. But if you try to run a hard jungler right now, you lose your lane so badly that you can't really recover. So I like, if you're going to run Enigma, I think this is the natural place for him at this point.
Well, you see right here, the horn's blown, and both teams just defending their bounty runes here in game one. And there's the early deny from Enigma, pops the shrine, and into the lane we go, he says. So Shadow Fiend versus Naga Siren, though, is how sure enough it will be Excalibur on that Naga Siren. However, Ogre Magi going to also be here early on to give that early lead for cancel, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Just throw the Ignite out and start running at him. Get cancel his first couple souls safely and easily, and then the lane gets very, very difficult for the Naga.
Oh, Excalibur's like, all right, I'm going to bring my army out. Fight you with all my illusions here. But yeah, Boogie, he's not too worried. He's going to kill off the illusions. In fact, he's going to take some free bounty from that. He's like, all right, I'll take a little bit of extra farm right here. Nothing wrong with that, but that's going to be a entertaining lane to keep an eye on here. In the middle, Pablo, he's going scouting out really for the Enigma, it looks like, seeing that he's finishing off a jungle camp right there, but the hero itself will go into the lane as it's starting to be somewhat pushed up, but Gork immediately throws his attention on him.
The timing was slightly unfortunate. Pablo actually ended up stacking that medium camp for the Enigma. So there's now a couple extra wolves sitting in there. Should be pretty easy for Enigma to clear out once he hits, you know, level 3. Could do it even at level 1 if he pulls it back properly. But yeah, unfortunate.
Boogie, he's going to pay attention to the top lane now. In fact, this could be a first blood potential. 3-3, he does have that Burrow Strike level 1, though, not the biggest range. Should be enough, however. Sing Sing not going to run him down. He's way too far away. And yeah, Sand King will survive, so.
And Ake actually making a huge play here, getting this double pull off. It's going to give him so much experience under the tower for free because he managed to pull a whole creep wave over to the hard camp.
You know, a lot of these coddles we've been noticing, they've been passing up that mana leak. I'm going to keep an eye on Ake here to see what he chooses here in the earlier levels. But yeah, it just, I don't know if that's like the new trend or if it's just happened to be a coincidence in a couple of games to be watching with the coddle. But yeah, it seems like they go without the mana leak for the first like 7 or 8 levels. Finally go it. Uh-oh. Speaking of him, he is in trouble right here. He's got that movement speed, but not enough. Out comes the zap. Sing Sing actually credit for the kill. But now the turn kill on a Rubik will be successful. 3-3 though. He does not have Sandstorm. He's going to just have to run away. That Ignite duel worked for the Firestorm. And even the Hellbear Smasher's like, here, I'll help you
didn't
guys
chime
out.
in, that was going to get close because he had boots and both Dire members did not. So he maybe could have run away from that. And this is what I mean by the Earth Spirit roams. He had a haste, came in super quickly on the Shadow Fiend, and managed to get Excalibur a very, very nice leg up in this lane.
Yeah, that's huge. Unfortunately, not catching that right as it happened, but as you were talking about, sounds like that haste rune definitely making the big play there from Earth Spirit, and so Cancel will have to join back in the middle lane right here. He uses the TP, but gonna set him behind somewhat as the top lane again. Boogie going at it with 3-3, but Boogie's the one that's at half-life, but now Rubik being here. He does have another Burrow Strike coming back up. He really wants this kill, man. He's going to be lifted backwards. The Illuminate connects, but it's not enough damage initially. Okay. But the Caustic will do him in right there. And now Celery's the one in trouble. He does not have another lift for another 10 seconds. He does have a Fade Bolt. Could use that, try to mitigate the damage. It's enough to save initially, and the Healing Ward comes out. If it wasn't for that Fade Bolt, he does die right there. 3-3 now on the run. The Ignite connects, though. And now Sand King going to be turned. He's like, ah, screw it, I'm going to take you with me. No, it's not going to happen.
Tried his best. He could have just wanded and gone for the aggressive Burrow Strike, but thought the kill was going to get the kill with Caustic and he could Burrow Strike out. Instead, coming up a little short. Good Healing Word from Juggernaut there to keep the Rubik alive.
Yeah. How's this bottom matchup looking? 18-3 Lifestealer, 13-8 Enigma. As I say this, here comes that rolling Earth Spirit. And there's no chance for him to get away from that one, so well, it's looking really good now for the Lifestealer here.
This Earth Spirit's definitely stepping up huge already in this game. Getting an amazing kill for the Naga. Desperately needed, because the Naga was out of regen with no bottle yet. Was still a couple hundred away and got an assist, which got him to the bottle, which is going to make the lane substantially easier.
Yeah.
And then securing the kill bottom. I mean, doing everything he needs to keep his team ahead in this game.
Naga Siren has the Arcane Boots, of course, looking to finish that Iron Talon, and then from there, my guess would be the typical Radiance build here on Naga.
Potentially an Aquila in first if they feel like they need it, since Lifestealer won't be buying one. But yeah, looking to go Radiance as soon as reasonably possible.
Again, Enigma in trouble. Doesn't have Black Hole maybe to set up with TP return, and there's just no chance. They go on top of him. This is obviously a weakness of an Enigma lane. He has zero escape, especially with that rage from Lifestealer.
And when you're running a roaming support like this, and he's actually connecting with ganks, it gets you such a huge lead because the Lifestealer's actually ahead of the Enigma in experience. Whereas if you had a traditional support pressuring the Enigma, he'd still probably be a level ahead, maybe 2 at this point. But instead, the Lifestealer has the XP lead, is now going to get the gold lead because of all these kills coming in. And Enigma's not going to be able to 1v1 this Lifestealer much longer.
He's coming back down here yet again with his Diabolic Edicts, but yeah, really having to keep his distance. He does have the Hand of Midas queued up, so it's ideally will be a nice recovery tool for him, of course, but Gonna be a ways away before he has that. Shadow Fiend middle lane. I mean, he has that death earlier on, but he's 29 and 12 overall, doing very good.
Look at these TPs bottom.
Yeah, everyone TP'd in. They get the turn kill on Urspear right there, and now Gork's like, oh crap, here comes the army. He gets the stun. There's the black hole as well. Pulls him right back in, and that's exactly how they're gonna be able to turn. So beautiful TP support. Top lane now, 3-3. He has the Burl Strike. Is gonna be in time. Should be. Stuns them both actually. Pablo porting in. Will allow him to run away here.
Lovely rotations there from the entire team. The kill on Earthspirit actually got the Enigma 6, so he quick skilled that on the last tick of Maleficus, was able to get in range for the black hole. So really nice synergizing there, getting that kill and then taking advantage of the XP you gained from it.
Naga Siren Illusion's gonna harass them somewhat. Get a little bit of bounty, of course, but Naga herself, she's over in the jungle, taking advantage of that new iron talent she has. And looking to progress her farm, switching over to the net worth a little earlier on, but obviously making her way up. It could be deceptive. Eventually, you expect the Naga to be looking pretty good, but for now, she's kind of in that mid-tier. Juggernaut is leading the way, 3,200 net worth for him. Is he going Helm of the Dominator? He actually has the Ring of Aquila first with the phase boots here. Nothing queued up, though.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think it would be a fairly good option for them as they have the tempo right now. They have the ability to pressure this Horde side. And this Naga, I actually really like the idea of the pick. When you pick Naga up, you need to make sure the jungle is available for Naga. So your carry can't be somebody that wants to farm jungle and get a little greedy. And Lifestealer fits that build perfectly. Once the laning phase breaks, Lifestealer would rather never hit a creep in the game.
Speaking of Lifestealer, he got in a little bit awkward of a spot, but he just kind of walks it off, so really not a big deal. They don't want to all-out commit. There is no black hole or anything like that from Enigma, so yeah, Lifestealer, he is fine. Falling back, going to be joining the creep wave, though, continuing to apply the pressure, but again, will need to continue to be careful, though, as Ogre and Rubik, they are insisting on sticking out nearby, if anything, to kind of deter him from getting free farm here.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the point. They just want to pressure everybody a little bit equally, try to slow down everyone. Excalibur, though, has still been grinding away. There hasn't been any pressure on him since that Roman middle, and starting to get some decent items. And this ward coverage here, this ward from the Radiant in their own jungle, is paying off huge and saving him from a gank there.
Well, middle push here from Cancel, but look at 3-3 setting up. Now he's being pinked out, though they know where he is. The race is on top of him. And Juggernaut now has an Omni Slash, but...
And an Invis.
Yeah, not just going to open up with it by any means. He is going to scout things out. This middle tier 1, they definitely want to defend this pretty important tower. Of course, they catch Juggernaut. By the way, they saw through the invis. He's going to be able to spin out in time, though, as the epicenter basically doing nothing there as a result. So unable to get the follow-up damage.
Yeah, unfortunate for them. They just don't have a lot of burst damage right now. Coddle had to be pre-charging Eliminate for that to work, and he didn't have a way of knowing what was going on. But yeah, they're very light on damage on this Horde side, other than holding off creeps with Eliminate for quite some time.
Middle tower has fallen.
And there's that middle tower kill. Shadow Fiend, I know that you're kind of a fan of wanting to see this again, but the Yul's Axe build Shadow Fiend, is it going to be real this game? Yeah, no, it's not.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Cancel definitely Dragonlance first, just to keep up the HP. With a couple early stat items, you don't die to this Radiant lineup unless you're extremely out of position.
Yeah.
They just really do lack the early game damage they need to bring people down. So I would expect something like Dragonlance Shadowblade. But from there, maybe the Ags. Maybe.
There's a chance. No, the typical build has definitely been that right-click presence, of course. The level 20 talent, as you like to refer to as well. It's such a damage amp for the hero, and really could take advantage of some decent battle-style items. So they do have the Enigma Black Hole, though, to definitely be a big setup for something like that Requiem, which, even without the setup items, of course, could definitely be very viable this game. The Hand of Midas is finished on Enigma, just a matter of being delivered now, so it's been a bit of a struggle for him. Ideally, we'll start recovering quite a bit here.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised by that choice, and I wondered if maybe the Jug wouldn't go a Dom, maybe it'd go like a Maelstrom or something first for farming potential, since the Enigma is kind of tunneling into more of a farming late game build with that Midas. And at the moment, with nothing in the quick buy, we don't really know.
Yeah, exactly. It's keeping us guessing here. what he's doing. So Naga Siren, we know what she's going for, the Sacred Relic,
Dire's top
queued up
tower
here
is under attack.
for that Radiant. So let the games begin. I feel like, especially with the Naga, that's like, it's one of those times, like a window, you could say, for the other team, where prevent her from getting at least a quick Radiance, and that could be, you know, obviously very good for you, not game winning by any means, but are they on like kind of a window right here, like when she gets
Hold
the
on,
Radiance?
watch the smoke here first, and then we'll
Top
go into
lane.
that one.
Yeah, they are going up, aren't they? They're going to be setting up with a flank. They're going to be exposed right here. Pablo realizing a little late to react, but finally coming out, and he'll barrel roll away. Not so safe is 3-3 up here, although maybe he got it.
3-3 needed to live there too. He's so close to his blink dagger. Dying there is a huge setback, and kind of ties into what we were talking about. If you're a very good team, like these two teams are both very, very knowledgeable. They've played high-tier competitive games before. You start to have a mental clock of where the enemy is as far as their item progression. Like right now, they know Naga's probably at around 1,000 gold. In a couple minutes, they'll understand she's around 2,000 gold if they haven't done anything to do with it. So once she starts closing in on that 3,800 mark, you really want to go find her, whether that's smoking or wards or just shoving buildings until she has to show up. But you really start to develop this timing sense that, oh, this person's close to something major, we should go on them. And that was what they did there with the Sand King. They had that Earth Spirit dead to rights if they wanted to turn on him, but they understood Sand King was getting close to blink, and if they could kill him off and shut that down for another few minutes, it's huge for them.
But they don't. He makes the escape, and obviously that blink dagger is now coming along very nicely. 1850, 1900 gold saved up, so really just around the corner, a couple of creep waves, and he basically will have that blink dagger at a pretty decent timing right here. And that, of course, going to create some openings as you're getting at the Helm of the Dominator, of course, on Juggernaut. 1,000 gold saved up for him. So, yeah, again, that Ring of Aquila has a lot of build-up here. A lot of presence for these team fights. And speaking of that, too, Enigma, he is going to be going right, or at least he has it queued up that he's going right into a blink dagger here. Wants to get that jump here right away.
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting because with Epi and Illuminate coming out, I feel like Mech would have been a very good option. One of those things that if you happen to get caught by a bad Illuminate, you mech it away. Once Sand King goes in, mech is a very good answer to just mitigating a lot of what he did. But opting instead to go for the more black hole-centric build, which I'm not necessarily saying is bad, but it's going to be very hard to get a good black hole off when Naga has Sunk the Siren.
That is very true. Yeah. It's going to be a very difficult game. That ability alone, it's almost like Silencer, of course. The presence of how difficult it could be to realistically get a good ultimate off here with the black hole. But yeah, he likes the idea of it, and you know what, if it pays off, and if it works out, of course, then it's definitely going to be very worth it. But it is somewhat of a big if. Going to be jumped back here in the background, magnetizes up. There's a black hole, though. It catches 3, actually, and the Rockwave of Souls right on top. Down goes 2. The third targeted life stealer, he too is going to fall, and that's the Wombo combo at its finest right there. Who needs a blink dagger when they're going to stun it onto you?
Yeah, and while that's extremely bad for Horde, you've got Excalibur up here doing exactly what he needs to do. When I said he should be at around 2,000 gold right now, he's at 2,700. He's closing in very rapidly on that relic, and if they still have any outer towers left by the time the Radiance comes online, this game could get drawn out for years.
A lot of fun ahead for us here. So yeah, it is kind of interesting knowing how they lost 3 for nothing in that fight, yet still there's definitely positive there as you're getting at for the Horde, and that being Excalibur and nearly 3,000 gold saved up, and that relic just about here, and then the Radiance soon to follow. So definitely excited about what happened there for BeanBoys, and they have every right to be, but know that this game is still far from over.
Yeah, and I actually think that Horde could have played that a little better. I think they could have just had Ake and 3-3 down there. Maybe you blow the Epi and tactically feed the Sand King, and I mean that in a literal sense, where you're killing him off to buy space for the Naga. And then they wouldn't have had to lose the Lifestealer. I don't think they were ever going to win that fight 4v5, especially with Black Hole, Requiem, Omni / all online. Like, that was just never going to be good for them. But instead, committing everyone to the ruse, I guess, and it does cost them a 3 for nothing.
Well, Keeper the Light, and kind of answer the question that I was talking about earlier. Let's kind of see the consistency here of Coddle players. Yeah, Mana Leak, I guess just Mana Leak in general. I know it did take some nerfs here recently, and just not as liked as an ability.
In this game, a little more reasonable because they're not going to be taking a lot of fights early. They don't want to be taking a lot of fights early, and they should never be running somebody down. So Mana Leak does lose some value there in the fact that if you're not aggressing and Mana Leaking someone and then stunning them as they run, not quite as good, but He just needs the wave clear right now. That's all they're praying for. They just want to hold the base, hold towers as long as we can, get Excalibur 2 stuff. He has his Relic done already.
Yeah.
He picked up those Arcanes around 10 and a half, 11 minutes, and has a Relic before 16.
Desolator actually being worked on by Lifestealer here as well, already with the armlet finished, of course, and Desolator seeming like it could be a pretty good timing on top of that. So again, that fight very good for BeanBoys and feeling good after it, but yeah, don't let that fool you as we keep going back to it. There's definitely still a lot of positive for the Horde over here on the Radiant, starting with that Naga Siren. You mentioned the Relic already picked up, 1350 gold needed for that Radiance, and good luck stopping her farm from there. It just really brings her online. Oh, this could help though. Cancel. Look at this. Thinking about opening with a Requiem. He wants to get positioning, wants to get her standing still. Ideally, the Requiem. Boom goes the Dynamite. Matter of time.
It's like the Requiem comes off and she's low and then he just dunks it. The low raise looks like he's slamming a dunk down in there. It feels good. But unfortunately, a pretty big setback for the Naga. You're pulling her off the map for 30 seconds. She lost 250 gold. But they do find a little bit of an answer.
Yeah, that was over here. Rubik actually getting picked off by Cork, it looks like.
Dire's middle tower
And a Lifestealer, so I don't know if that was the Infest. Yes, it was. Infest bomb there.
Yeah, Infest into a Burrow Strike. Pretty clean.
The Desolator again coming along, but obviously locking down Naga Siren's got to be a good feeling. Shadow Fiend going that early Hurricane Pike, by the way. How about that? You know, he's Invis. I assumed that he had a Shadow Blade, but no, that was actually an Invis rune. And
yeah, there's going to be a lot of AoE damage thrown out this game between Sand King and Naga once that Radiance comes online, Magnetize, even trying to dodge Illuminates. He probably thinks he couldn't get great use out of a Blink right now. And going the full Hurricane Pike gives you a sort of Blink that still lets you Force Staff in if Enigma catches a good hole and get a Requiem off in time. So just a little more flexible.
oh, bottom lane. They actually get the kill on an Earth Spirit down here. Looks like Black Hole used. Ah, missed that one, unfortunately. Look at the first right there. Let's go ahead and just do a quick rewind. Yeah, just a simply solo kill. Using that Blink Dagger on top of that, so.
Yeah, this Enigma is very, very over-leveled. Level 13 already in this game. He's just got a ton of experience.
Oh, they're also going to get Coddle, who is a little bit too far up. They smoked on in. They catch her. The Bloodlust being thrown around. This should be a very easy Tier 2 tower kill. Now, Black Hole used on a solo Earth Spirit. I know some people may look at that as like, oh, is that really that viable? Especially with what they had earlier with the Black Hole. But does it really go back to, are you really going to get that Black Hole opportunity?
Yeah, I will never look down at a one-man Black Hole before 20 minutes. I think the pace of the game usually means it's back up before you need it. But, I mean, BeanBoys is looking to go T3 here. It would be pretty nice to have, but they're threatening high ground already.
Can they do it is the question. I mean, obviously when you're going up against the Naga Siren, is definitely a viable strategy to get those early Tier 3s, and they got the Tier 3 tower, and they are
this
going
is gonna
for the
fall.
Rex.
This Rax is going to get given up.
Yeah, she does. She does have a Radiance finish, actually. She just gets it right here. They are going to be jumping on a Shadow Fiend. That could be a quick kill off the bat. No BKB or anything like that, but guess what? He has a Force Staff over the ledge, so he will survive, actually. They don't really have the best chase to go after him. They're going to lock down Juggernaut. He bounces around with the Omni Slicer Requiem from a distance right there. Gets a one-turn kill. Lifestealer dead as well with no buyback. Earth Spirit does buy back immediately. A beautiful response from BeanBoys. And now Rubik, he's going to play the Sacrificial Lamb almost. Going back in with a zap right there. But maybe not. He actually can also try to make his escape still. They're hanging around. I mean, Juggernaut's very vulnerable. He's going to put down the Healing Ward, though, as it just came out cooldown. Earth Spirit going with a barrel roll. Unfortunately, connecting late, and the spin comes down. That's a barrel roll into absolute death for Pablo. And 3-3 also going to fall. They are chasing way too far out.
You held their axe. It cost you a buyback and it cost you Lifestealer, but you held their axe. And now I don't know if you can do that.
What?
If they want to just run right into the base, how do you hold this if you're Horde?
What are they doing? Why would you try right there? What? I'm at a loss as to what the logic was right there. Without your Sand King, your Lifestealer just resurrecting, that was a bit of a, well, not the greatest decision. And now you're going to lose the melee racks as you're getting at it. That's a bit of a unfortunate moment, we'll say, for the Horde.
And the amount of gold you gain throughout the rest of this game by taking this barracks early is huge. You get the racks gold spread across your team. You get extra pressure on the lane, which means that entire Radiant jungle now opens up to be your playground. You can essentially farm that out fairly safely unless 5 heroes are off the map. And it's going to turn into a massive gold differential later into this game.
Like, the only thing I can think of is that, I mean, even if they have a Sand King buyback, I mean, they did have it. It's just maybe he was expecting it, but there is no epicenter either. He was still on cooldown, so yeah, very curious decision making there on the part of the Radiant here. And obviously now, as you're kind of going over, this really does open up the world now to BeanBoys as far as having such a huge advantage over a 10,000 net worth, 10,000 experience lead. You have Shadow Fiend now. Look at that. Look at what he has queued up, by the way. Oh, that's beautiful.
Please cancel. I will PayPal you $5.
He might be trolling. Cancel is known to be a bit of a troll. Let's just say.
I'm all right.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves, but
you know you want to. You know you want to, my friend.
BKB, by the way, also onto Enigma, yeah, as well as now the Shadow Fiend. To clarify, if he has that up, does Sleep go through BKB or no?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
But it essentially would still mitigate the hole because it's going to stop everyone else from doing anything during it.
Got you. Okay.
So while the hole doesn't get anything done, you're stopping the Shadow Fiend from Requieming, you're stopping the Jug from ulting. So it's still a soft counter to the skill, even with the BKB.
Okay, that's actually a fair point, yeah. I guess unless Shadow Fiend also has his BKB up, but...
And a big thing to note here, it's not Naga's Radiance that's scary, it's the fact that she farms so fast once she gets it that the rest of the items are scary.
Yeah.
So Naga right now is still an extremely vulnerable hero without a lot of utility to provide to this team other than being able to split some waves out and push out some of those on her own with the images. But she needs to definitely have about 2 more items before they can really look to fight. I don't know if they're going to get that time with the pressure that Bean is putting on here.
Easy Roshan kill. Got Coddle's going to even try to steal. Oh, he's going for the ninja! No, that's a dead Ake.
I like to try Ake. I like it.
You know, he's dead for 30 seconds. Not the biggest deal. Yeah, absolutely worth the effort there by Ake, but obviously coming up short. And now Nagasara
man.
Fall back.
Rubik didn't take the carry talent. I'm so sad.
Carry talent, what? It went, oh, wow, yeah, 60. Ugh, so underwhelming, too. God, get the 60 damage. Yeah.
It's one of those things they're planning on, for the most part, grouping up and pressuring really hard here, so Rubik's not going to get any more farm. 60 GPM gets him to a Blink Dagger eventually, or that Glimmer.
Oh, this could be a big kill, but no, the Black Hole is here. Requiem is ready, but he doesn't even care about that. His right clicks are doing plenty.
Yeah, and worst case, like, very best case scenario there for Horde, you get the Ages. Like, that wasn't ever going to be a good situation. They just look lost in this game.
Some may say tilt. I mean, it's definitely real. That's obviously all humans after all. It is a real reaction, and it does seem like there is some frustration, no doubt, on the side of the Horde. But again, they are sticking in it. It's understandable when you have a Nagasara, and that is doing decent. Not taking off by any means, but you know, one of the things of picking up a Nagasara is, of course, you expect it to be a much longer game. And so they're going to give that a chance. But what is this right here? Enigma's actually behind. Yeah, he's behind them, actually, with an invis room or a smoke. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but... And he jumps on Ake. Gets 4 staff away, though. He'll be fine here.
There's just no way for Horde to fight this. The only thing they can do right now is use Naga illusions to pick off waves before they even leave the base, basically. Use Naga to stop every wave as they're coming out of the T3s in the dire base. And then you just spam out the current wave with Illuminate on Coddle. This is your hope in this game that's left. You make sure there's never a wave that gets to your base, so backdoor protection's always on. And then you could potentially grind this game out over the course of the next 50 minutes.
What have we here?
Know that this game, yeah, could be. It's going to be a long victory for Horde, no doubt, if they end up holding off. But obviously, BeanBoys has other plans, as they're continuing to keep the pressure up, keeping the lanes pushed up as much as they can. You have a Maelstrom in the works here for a Juggernaut, it looks like. An eventual Mjolnir, of course, to follow. Enigma has the bots here with that BKB and Blink Dagger, as mentioned. Ogre even at 4 staff, a Glimmer Cape, so has a couple of great saving options here for his teammates. Rubik has a Blink Dagger queued out, but it's going to be a while. Of course, he has that. Does he have anything stolen?
It'll be less
Magnetize.
time.
Okay.
It'll be less time since he has the GPM talent. Huh?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, that much quicker, you know?
Yeah.
Still going to be a while.
So, Naga, though, is starting to ramp up. We've got the Soul Booster done. The Mystic Staff is coming in here shortly. I imagine the Naga at this point doesn't say buyback. You just buy out everything you can to try to give yourself a fighting chance. Now, how do they hold this T3? Because there's 2 waves already coming. Ake can definitely help, but it does take 2 Illuminates to clear out a creep wave, and they don't have any extra damage they can really throw in other than like an Earth Spirit kick.
I'm almost a little bit surprised BeanBoys doesn't really just try to go cutthroat right there and go into the base because of, as you're suggesting, it's how are they going to truly hold? But maybe it's BeanBoys again. They don't want to throw themselves at them. They want to, make sure they're kind of pushing the other lanes. But I don't know. Are they really going to easily do that? Naga's keeping the push at the bottom lane. Yeah, did they miss out on the chance there to push? Or I guess they're going to go Shrines.
They want to safely clear out the map, make sure they have the wards where they want them, and know how Horde wants to take that fight. If they have vision, they have knowledge, and if they have knowledge of this, they should win this very easily.
Yeah.
I love Cancel right now. He actually bought the eggs.
Nice.
Thank you.
There you go. It actually came through. I was definitely even kind of trolling about it, bringing it up earlier to be frank, but
I said yesterday, it is a viable item on Shadow Fiend. It's actually not bad. With the level 20 talent compounded on top of it, it's actually a reasonable damage increase for him. Sure, it's not as good as a Daedalus or a Satanic or something along those lines, but the fact of the matter is it does add decent damage, and the heal from the ult is not to be understated.
Got the tail end of that right there, but the black hole, of course, used it. And again, Lifestealer Rage is only so good. It does not stop that black hole, of course, and locking him down. And even with just him and a Rubik, they have enough damage to actually take out the Lifestealer. And he's going to be dead for another 30 seconds right here. So Octarine Core is finished on Naga Siren. Definitely a nice Excel tool for her, and they are going to split push at the top lane. 3-3's up here as well. So decision time for the BeanBoys. Do they really try to defend, or they try to go for a push here? As there's the reclaim, however, on the Aegis, so that could deter their decision here. As far as going
and it's
in.
going to be a long time till next Roche, and they have nothing else to take. So it's a little bit scary here for BeanBoys to not go for it, because you're going to give the Naga roughly 5-6 minutes if you're going to wait for the next Aegis. So I would like to see them pressure here. I think they hit all the item breakpoints they want. They're in good shape, and the longer you wait, the better your chance to lose this game.
3-3 is hiding up here. He's just being sneaky. We'll see if maybe they look to scout something out. I mean, you got to figure, again, with a hero like a Sand King, the Naga constantly doing the split pushing, Lifestealer, to be checking the things out like this. In fact, Rubik's up here as if he's almost expecting, and they got a lot of pings up there. So they definitely are aware that is possible.
They're pinging saying they need to go place what are known as the Tinker Wards, where you put it on top of these ledges up on the very edge of the map so that you can see if Sand King's trying to cut the trees and hide way up there like that.
Oh, nothing just yet, but definitely something that they are thinking about, it sounds like. Smoking towards the top lane. Man, Enigma almost has an Octarine Core himself.
Yeah, the smoke's a little preemptive. Black Hole isn't quite up yet. If they find 1 or 2, it's not a big deal, but if they would happen to wander into that whole Horde lineup, could be a little dangerous for them.
Is that better than a Refresher, though, on Enigma?
It's debatable. I think in this game, they just want the cooldown reduction on everything, and being able to Black Hole more often rather than waiting on big cooldowns is easy.
That's a Naga
This
kill.
is a huge kill. She has no buyback.
You were right. Yeah, she's dead for 50, so even if she wanted to, doesn't have that choice. She has a couple of illusions up still, but going to be wearing off here shortly. As, bottom lane, the Black Hole. It's again going to set up a kill on a Lifestealer, most likely. Oh, he passes the last second, but they
Doesn't
know
matter,
what's
you
up.
can convert them.
That's right.
Very, very nice play from Bambo there just to smash the conversion right away. The other big benefit on the Octarine, though, is the fact that the stats on it are actually useful. You get a bunch of health and a bunch of mana, whereas Refresher gives you very, very little in the terms of useful stats.
Okay. Maybe some of the logic that he's thinking there, too, for sure. Earth Spirit, he's at the top lane by himself. He has a gem, but this is, they're going for a gank onto him, but not going to be able to find him. And he will actually barrel roll away in time, unless... Ooh, Enigma.
I know, it was close. If it was daytime, might have died there.
Yeah, almost catching him, but
Instead,
now going to
3-3.
catch Sand King.
Who does have buybacks, so a little bit surprised they didn't go for more with that Naga kill, knowing the buyback's down, but really just trying to play this game safe. They know if they control this entire map and stop the Naga from pushing lanes out, the gold lead's just going to balloon out of control. But I do think they're being a little too apprehensive, maybe giving a little too much respect here to Horde.
Another pick off right there as Connell goes down. Shadow Fiend absolutely wrecking this game. 11-1 and 4 for cancel. And MKB now in the works. And he has that scepter. I don't think we've seen the Requiem being used since. He's picked up that scepter, but know that it's going to be that much more viable now. As bottom lane, look at this. Enigma doesn't have a black hole this time, though. Could be the difference maker. Gork, though, he's going to go for the TP. They don't have a stopper, do they? All right.
Black hole's down, which is their only real way to do it. Juggernaut, though, is working on it. His next item's going to be Abyssal, so no more rage TPs. And they won't have to commit a insanely long cooldown now.
Naga Siren being back up, though, pushing out the top lane. The Manta style in the works for her. The Yasha already finished. The respawn, though, on Roshan. About 1:15 now, as we see right there, so that's definitely going to be key as far as the Dire side.
While this game may look bleak for Horde, anyone saying GG out? No. This game is still a game. As sad as this looks, this is what Naga games look like frequently.
Oh, yeah. No, even I've seen plenty of Naga Siren games. To my dismay, but that lasts a lot longer because of the turtle idea. And then eventually, you know, it just becomes too much to handle. You can't actually break through and finish the game yourself. And then before you know it, all the Illusion RB is doing the work and winning the game for the Naga team. So 100% with you, especially being the finals. Yeah, I don't care if it's game one of a best of three. Absolutely. You draft that hero knowing that this is one of those circumstances that could come up.
If Ake gets to an Aghanims and Excalibur gets to, like, Manta Bots Butterfly, which is not an unreasonable amount of items for him to pick up before this ends, then this game gets exceptionally hard. Ake can rip him around the map, move him around in positions he couldn't normally go, keeping that bot's cooldown up for when he needs it. And all of a sudden, once those illusions get to be tankier and harder to kill, then the pressure actually starts flipping around. BeanBoys then start to have to hold every one of their lanes individually, and that's where the struggle is going to come.
Now, the Manta style was on that courier, by the way, so that's actually going to stall Naga's Manta style for another about 3 minutes here, just under. That's actually pretty significant, because again, she's the one.
That's a huge farm accelerant for her, just like getting the Radiance in the first place. A second set of illusions on a different cooldown, I mean, you can farm even more of the map and get extra gold, so really, really unfortunate that did die.
Oh, they're going to find up here. Shadow Fiend does. There's a song used, though. Excalibur, I was going to say, kind of runs for the, going to make a play. The BKB popped out, gets the stun, and now Excalibur's in a lot of trouble, actually. Couple of auto attacks, and Shadow Fiend easily secures the kill. Goes to show you how far he is.
Very big misplays here coming out of Excalibur. Like, when you song like that, you either TP right away or you get your team there to fight. He stalled and got really greedy, making illusions so he could farm more of the map before he ported out. And great use of the BKB there from Enigma. He was on the edge of the song range, hadn't gotten caught by it yet, just BKB blinked and Malefist. So very heads up from him, but what a misplay from Excalibur, and that's twice now he's gotten caught when he shouldn't have.
Oh, up here, Sand King barely makes it out, but yeah, here we go with the Roshan. I mean, you have to, like, they have to push, right? Like, there's no way they do not try to push a tier 3 here with the Aegis picked up.
Yeah, I really do feel like your window, I'm not going to say your window's closing because I don't think there's ever a situation Bean's out of this with this draft, but your 80%, 90% win is slowly shrinking towards 50% the longer you wait.
Well, Shadow Fiend, of course, leading the way. Does have the Aegis now. Juggernaut, really haven't focused too much on him because Shadow Fiend's kind of been the big target here, but again, he has a full Mjolnir. He actually has a Skull Basher in his stash right here. So it just needs to be delivered, though. But yet another item that's going to help their cause. As, oh, Augur finds Sand King here, but by himself. Sand King with that Ags, has good distance. Enigma, Blink Dagger in 2 seconds, though.
He will happily hold the Sand King if it means they get the kill, but great jukes from 3-3.
Yeah.
Cutting back and leaving them totally confused with what happened there. Bambo even ports back to the shrine to try to get it.
Well, they're going to group with bottom lane. Oh, actually, Lifestealer's here. That will be a Black Hole. They win for the Rage TP. Black Hole gladly used to secure the kill on him. And he does not have a buyback. Again, you really have to capitalize, it feels like, if you're BeanBoys, especially now on this, with him being dead here. I don't care how much the lanes are being pushed in. It just feels like, yeah, you have to take advantage of this opportunity now.
The problem is, where do they do it?
Yeah.
Bottom lane already has no racks, and that's the only wave in good position. Naga's already pushing out the next wave in middle.
That's true.
And the Sand King is really helping with the wave clear.
God, I mean, you're right. It's like, and I'm sure they obviously are very aware of what they need to be doing too, but a lot easier said than done. Naga's going to be able to TP out this time as she does get the song off. Ake, not so lucky. He's going to be caught most likely, and we'll have to wait to come back to life here. 45 seconds. Middle lane, meanwhile, Shadow Fiend, he's just pushing it down. Now he has Rubik's support. Glimmer Cape's going to be used on him as the stun combo comes out from her Spirit.
Yeah, there's still the Aegis on him, but they would rather not throw it away if they don't have to.
Well, they do.
Those go down.
All right, so won't have it here. Coming back up. Of course, no black hole. So
And this is actually the pickoff that BeanBoys is looking for so they can push. Without that Illuminate to burn out their creep waves, they can hold a creep wave in the base for more than a quarter second.
Ooh, Earth Spirit gets out just in time. In a pretty bad spot right there, but Basher not enough to lock him down. Lifestealer running into the background. Epicenter going off as well. Going to be stolen, actually. No, Sandstrom, I believe, stolen. Instead, right there, BKB popped by Sexy Bamboo. Meanwhile, there's that Requiem Max effect double kill.
Yes.
Comes out for Naga, as well as Lifestealer being dead. GGs are being called now with no buyback. The axe works for Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, definitely an extremely solid game out of BeanBoys. We saw glimpses of what Horde was trying to do, and if they didn't lose that first Rax that early, I think this game would still be going for a very long time. But BeanBoys really just took the aggression to him in that one little time, and that awkward song from Excalibur that he just stood around Shadow Fiend when it ended and died, opened up that first barracks, and everything just went south from there.
Yeah. Whew, I mean, 31-6. BeanBoys, they really did just dominate really most, if not all, of that game. But again, it's just crazy to think that that the Horde still had hope. They still had some glimmer of hope there because of a Naga Siren and what he was able to do. But in the end, not enough. And of course, BeanBoys victorious. So they have the 1-0 lead. But of course, this is a best of 3. So obviously, looking forward to seeing how now things continue in this series. So ladies and gentlemen, sit tight. We're going to be right back here. More coverage coming at you of the grand finals of the European qualifiers for the Kiev Major Open qualifiers, that is. Again, I'm Breaking CBK, joined by Z-Rock here. Game number 2 going to be coming up next.
Do you